Now we're gonna see how to use view binding in a fragment when the view is already inflated. Okay, so in this fragment we actually inflate the layout, the view. We inflate it here on create view. Okay, just for the demo purposes, let's create another fragment. In this case, we're gonna let's create let's new layout. Let's call it fragment main container, for example, fragment main container. All right. So now we have this fragment main container. Let's copy this. Let's put it inside, just for demo purposes, and let's call the text view container. Cool. And now just include this up. We can create a new class, Kotlin class, create a new class, which is gonna call main container fragment. All right, cool. So now we have this main container fragment. We can extend from fragment, instantiate it, and we're gonna inflate the view before. So to inflate the view, we can just include the layout here on top, and we put here this fragment main container. So now the view is going to be inflated. So we don't need to inflate it with the view fragment, but actually we cannot use view binding because it's already inflated. And now we're going to see how to use it. So because we have let's see the previous fragment. As you can see, when we're going to use this one on view created. The view has already been created. We don't need to use this on create view. So let's go here and we're gonna use on view created. All right. So now let's create, as we see before, this is private var binding. We instantiate fragment fragment main container binding. It's created this one for us. It's gonna be nullable. We instantiate it as null. Cool. We're gonna say private val binding get. Here we're gonna say binding, and we put the band to remove the nullability. Now here, if we're gonna start to use, then we need to get the view and bind this view binding inside of the view. Okay. So in this case, we're gonna use binding we're gonna use fragment main container, and in this bind, no, in the inflate, we use the bind. You see is accept a view by default. So because accept the view, what we're gonna do is insert this view there inside. So that's it. So now we have in this view binding exactly, we bind with this view. Just for consistency, we're gonna use the on destroy view, and here on destroy view we're gonna set this bind to null. Cool. Okay, so now we can use this in this binding. We just dot text view container as we declared before in an ID. So we have this text view container, and what a day. So we can start the name and hi fragment container. All right. So yeah, we need to pass the text. We cannot include any string straight away to the view. So yeah, we have this view container. All right. So now we need to start our main container fragment. So this third container fragment, we can go to the activity itself. We have this fragment. Let's create another fragment here on top. Fragment, match parent, 0dp. And now we can include the ID, and we're gonna fragment bind. All right. So here as name, we use the main container fragment. Okay. below is main fragment, and on the top is main container fragment. All right, so this one is red because we have not included yet all the constraints. So let's add the constraint right now. We go to the design, we can see this one on top, here, and that's it. Because this, we don't need to use the both. Well, yeah, it's like this. So now we have this fragment on top, which is the bind, and on the bottom is the main fragment. Let's start back here. Yep. So now it's success, sorry. Yeah. So now we can see on top our text, how we include hi fragment container here on top. So what is the main difference? The main difference is if you're gonna start a new fragment from scratch, okay, then you can use straight away this one. You know, you can inflate it inside as we did we do in the past when we actually do the inflated inflate. You can use it this way, but if we're gonna extend one fragment from another fragment and that first fragment already inflate the view, then you know you cannot, well, you can actually inflate again, but you need to add it, and it's gonna look very bad because one fragment is gonna look on top, another fragment gonna look on bottom, practically it's gonna be the same. So in this specific scenario, if we want to just extend, if you're gonna use in another fragment class, you're gonna use the views in this fragment, you just can binding, and that's it. You don't need to do nothing else. Okay, so this is practically everything what view binding is gonna offer us. Right now, we're gonna start with the pro tips I'm gonna teach you. So we wanna see it for the next video. Actually, you know, we're not gonna see it for this video. Okay, so at the moment, this is the basics. Now you can use view binding on activities, on fragments. You can bind when already the view is inflated, and practically that's all. Right now, in the next video, we're gonna start to see the pro tips. Okay, so until next video.